Hello everybody, this is Tony Merino, with finally his second part to this Castlevania walkthrough with my good friend Simon Belmont, the only man that can rock a armored miniskirt and still look manly in it. Look at that man. He's saying, I don't care what you think, Dracula. I shall wear a skirt, and I shall help you with your landscaping, because that seems to be what I am doing right now. So right now I am going down this little ramp, and I have no idea why am I doing that in a Castilian accent. So anyways, here we go. Here we have some armadillos that are excessively high on X, because they're just walking randomly and then doing some circles while listening to dubstep. And here I am to rid Dracula's garden of this obvious, lethal, and dangerous plague of drug addict armadillos. Anyways, we gotta go up through this mountain range. Now, as you can see here, we have a set of 6 candles in the corner of a mountain cave, which I truly feel sorry for that poor demon that has the job to actually have to do that. Anyways, here we go. Some money and candles, because that's the best place to hide them. And anyways, here we have a great view of Midget Dracula's castle. He is the mini-me to Dracula. And, you know, Dracula being the cool guy that he is, he gave his own clone his own little castle. But we can't go there right now, because I don't feel like it. Anyways, here I am getting absolutely pulverized by the Walking Dead and ecstasy-filled armadillos. If you really look at those zombies, they kind of have like those Star Wars sand people faces. Anyways, here we are at the swamp. And some of the most dangerous actual enemies for speedrunners is the birds. I've noticed that with some speedrunners. So they are not actually that difficult to deal with. You just really have to get them at the first try. If not, they'll just start circling you. And right now, I think I am losing concentration, because there we go. Look at that. Sinking slowly in maple syrup. Yeah. These frogs, man. Oh my god, these frogs. Anyways, here we keep going. You know, who would think that, you know, in the casting call that Dracula did for, you know, creatures to help him out against the evil Simon Belmont, you know, he would say, yeah, let's get some armadillos in there. It seems like a obvious thing to use, because they're so common in the Transylvanian wildlife, you know. Armadillos are very prominent in Transylvania and Texas, apparently. So here we have these floating platforms that look like jello molds. This jungle gym bridge that has a plant at the end of it. And look at that. What I found odd is that why is the other one stiff and this one all flexible? If I had a dime for every time I hear that, I would have a dime. Anyways, here we are getting to our sub-boss, which would be good old Medusa. And this is the closest you'll ever get to full frontal in a Super Nintendo game. Look at that. Look at that. The poor thing, though, she had a surgery, you know, a couple years ago, because, you know, they were too big, so they had to operate and take out some of the fat from there. But unfortunately, they accidentally left her nipples without reconnecting them. So she's pretty pissed off about that. So that's why she hangs out in this place and tries to keep away from men, judgmental men as we are. So as you can see there, she fell apart, because that's what women do. Here we have the disembodied arms of nerd right arms, you know, when they're doing their filthy things with their right arms, which I am not going to go into right now. We have some gargoyles. Who would have thought that Transylvania has enough money for a water park? Now, as you can see here, there's a lot of bubbles coming out of Simon Belmont's feet, because he apparently farts through his feet. Now, there we go. I am not above scatological humor, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because fart jokes are the best. Because it comes out of your butt, and that's funny. Anything that comes out of your butt is funny. Unless, no, I literally think there's anything that could come out of your butt, and it's probably funny. Except blood. In the correct context. Anyways, enough of talk about that. Let's keep walking here. In this water park smack in the middle of Dracula's castle, which why not? If you got some pimped out money the way Mr. Dracula P. Weinstein has it, why not have a water slide park in your castle? Because Lord of Darkness gets bored because apparently he doesn't leave that place much, because the second he does, he starts getting whipped by people like good old Simon here. So it's kind of understandable, poor guy. Okay, here we are at the caverns of Abadabadababa. Yes, that's the name of it. The caverns of Abadabadababa. Which reminds me heavily of those roadside attractions you get to see in the U.S. Those ones for like $3, and you get to see these, how can we call it, these formations in the center of the earth. And, they are cool, and actually a lot of colors you see in this game are actually like the ones you see there. But, the thing is, it's like, just looking at them is kind of boring. The cool thing would be actually be in there, and they should like turn it into like a mini golf course at the same time, or like a bar. That way you have like a really great frame of reference. Like, oh my god, I went to this bar and it was in the center of the earth. It was cool. That's one of my ideas that nobody ever followed. Anyways, we'll keep going here. And right now we are going to discover one of the few secret areas I've actually come across in Castlevania 4. And as you can see, there's a lag to this level because of that. And yet again, here are some candles that some poor schlub has to come in and light up every day. Like, oh, well, that's my job. Like I really feel that like Dracula's castle is kind of like Disneyland, whereas there's a lot of employees and a lot of them do like a lot of dumb stuff. And there's probably the one that has to light the candles. There's the one that has to feed these poor dragon skeletons that can't move. There's, the guy that has to make sure that the unions are happy, like the merfolk union and the zombie union, make sure their accommodations are adequate. So, I have no idea where I'm going with this, but I really feel like here are, for example, the Mudmen, which, if this would actually happen in real life, that would be creepy. Like, if you, kill something and then 2 more came out of it, and then 6 more came out of it. Especially if it was, like, an ex-girlfriend. Hey-o! Anyways, so here we keep going. I really need to apologize for not making any of these for a while. Thing was, I was knee-deep in a new job. I was the middle school teacher, world history. And I realized that after being through the 7th circle of hell, that is, educating 14-year-olds about the happenings of the planet, I decided to say, you know what? I should really just be making these videos instead. So, here I am. Now, this is the least scary bridge ever because it doesn't fall off until you cross it. Now, here we have these. What are these things? Sometimes I feel like the developers didn't know what to put there, so they just put a ball that's moving around. I don't care. Just make it hurt them. Here we go. Here we have these jiggly plants, not to be confused with jiggly puffs. Actually, it was really funny. The other day, on my last days, I was dictating something to my students in titles, and at the last title I asked them to put this slowly. It was The Rise and Fall of the Great Green Giants Revenge Ninja's Jigglypuff or something like that I asked them to put. And they didn't realize I was saying something stupid until I said the Revenge of Jigglypuff. And then they were like, oh, teacher, why did you make us write that? I was like, my last days, I'll do whatever I want. Anyways, here we keep going. One of the cool things about this Castlevania is the 8-way directional whipping that you could do, which makes the work in this game a lot easier. But the thing that once you get used to the new Castlevanias, it feels kind of weird when you're playing the older ones because there's no dash button. So you just have, Simon walking in this very decided step. It's not necessarily slow, but it does get frustrating when you want to get on with it, And I've seen speedrunners do this amazingly. There's this one guy, I can't remember, he did this in less than 40 minutes, I think. And that's amazing, because they were, taking hits on purpose to be able to get there. Now here we have the Roman orgy aqueducts, where people could enjoy having a pleasurable time with fish people, because, they're really good with their mouths. And if you got to that part in this walkthrough conversation, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to complain about that. Anyways, here we have these eyeballs, which are very annoying if you don't get them on the first try. As you can see right now, in this level, you're going to see me fail like a pro. And what do I mean by failing like a pro? I mean that you fail in a way that you can prove that it's not your fault. It's actually the video game's fault. And here this skeleton was lagging, and like any skeleton, obviously they were hiding juicy red bloody hearts in their dry calcium-filled bodies. And here we get a chicken wing from KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Castlevania. Haha, see what I did there. Anyways, and we keep going, and here we have this damn eyeball that has pink eye, and it's trying to get that pink eye into my eye, and I'm like, no sir, no pink eye for me. And here we have this, come in the water, it's nice and cold, come on Simon. And they convinced me, but unfortunately Simon is a horrible swimmer. So here I come back again. I have to use my super whip that I consider, it looks more like a dog leash than a whip, which takes me back to my youth, because when I was a kid I used to play a lot of this game, and we had dog leashes in my house because we didn't have dogs. Just mom and dad really enjoyed sadomasochistically playing to be dog and owner, and if you believe that, you're a sick puppy. Anyways, we had a lot of dog leashes, so I would use them like if it was a Castlevania whip, and I would do that a lot with my friends. And needless to say, every time I would do this, somebody would have a bump on their head. Sometimes me, sometimes my friends. And those really, really, really hurt. Because if you know the laws of physics, it doesn't matter the size of an object, it's the velocity it can get before it hits you, thus creating force or whatever. And so, needless to say, there was always somebody crying. Oh, there, see the pink eye? I got pink eye now. And oh, there we go. I need to get out of here before the fishes try to get me into the kiddie pool again. And since Simon can't go in there without his floaties, I gotta get out of here. And look at that. See, that wasn't my fault. There was a certain level of lag there, and it kind of didn't let me get through. Anyways, let's keep going. Obviously, as you can see, I am not trying to make a speed run. I'm just trying to make a get to the end run. That's what they're called now. I've checked. A lot of very reliable sources, like my mom and my dad and me. No, I think the correct term to what I'm trying to do is a long play, which, is like the bastard unloved brother of the speedrun. I know I'm talking about speedruns a lot lately, but I just really started getting into them myself because there's this group of people that do it for charities, which I think is really nice. And these guys are good. It's becoming kind of a big deal now because they even got a YouTube article about these guys. And it is impressive, These guys play the same game every day. Like, these guys could actually have a very positive career in game testing because they have that dedication and just playing the same thing over and over and over. So, you need that to be able to be, successful. So these guys would make a killing doing that. But you got these guys that are... I guess I paused it there. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that for today, guys. I'll try to get through this water level next time. But thanks a lot to everybody. Glad to be back. And I will see you for part 3.